both of us calculated all of these moves, and here there is only one move to save the game, which he played in the real game, that is the move Queen G5. And when he played this move Queen G5, I have only one move to stay in the game, that is the move Queen D7, and even I played Queen D7. Hello there, this is Heramb Bhagwat, and today I have another exciting game of me winning against a Fide master, the game which I played in the year 2022. So let's go to the game. So this is a game which I played in 2022 against Aryan Varshine in the tournament Gujarat GM Open, where I defeated him in the second round. So let's look at the game, and let's look at this game from a practical point of view, how both players could have played better to put pressure on each other. So this game started with d4, black played knight f6, white played c4, black played e6, white played knight c3, black played bishop b4, white played bishop g5. So I'm just going a little bit fast on these opening moves because this entire part was my preparation. And here he played the move h6, I played bishop h4, castles, knight f3, and here he played d5. So he played d5 and I played e3. Once I played e3, he played c5. Now black is trying to create an isolated pawn. If I play bishop d3, he can play c into d4, e into d4, d into c4, bishop into c4, and white gets an isolated pawn. And having the idea that what my opponent is going to do next, I played bishop d3, allowing him to give me this isolated pawn. And let me just give you a little bit idea about the d4 isolated pawn. This is known as the isolated queen pawn, which is also known as IQP very commonly in the chess world. Now the myth about IQP is bad. But let me tell you, IQP is not necessarily bad. Sometimes it can be bad, but sometimes it can also turn out to be an advantage. So in this particular position, the d4 pawn doesn't look that weak. White is still okay with the d4 pawn. And here, when my opponent played the move b6, I saw that he has not played knight c6 yet. So I said, let me combine development with attack. So I can develop my queen and at the same time attack my opponent's bishop. So I played the move queen b3, attacked the opponent's b4 bishop, and at the same time I developed my queen. My opponent played knight c6, I played castles, because he cannot take knight into d4. If he takes knight into d4, I would simply play queen into b4 and he loses a piece. If he plays knight into d4, I can even play knight into d4, queen into d4, bishop into f6, queen into f6, queen into b4, which is much better, and he still loses a piece. And that's the reason my opponent, he did not take here, he simply retreated back bishop e7. And when he retreated back bishop e7, I thought that this was a strange move at first because he has already moved the bishop, now he's moving it one more time. But the problem is the black player can play the move knight a5 here. And when he plays knight a5, then he attacks the b3 queen, he also puts pressure on the c4 bishop. And that's the reason white has to be very careful. Even one small mistake from the white side can cause a big problem. And that's the reason here I played the move queen d1. Now knight a4 is not really dangerous because if he plays knight a4, I can play the move bishop d3. So my opponent played bishop b7, logical move, just developing his bishop. I played rook e1. So both sides are just playing the natural moves, just developing moves. Rook c8. Now he's putting some pressure on the bishop. Maybe there is an idea of knight takes d4. Knight takes d4, knight takes d4, rook takes c4, which can be very dangerous. So I simply played bishop e2 here. He played knight a5, and taking advantage of the fact that his knight is not there on the c6 square, I played knight e5. And now if you see, my knight has gone to the central square. Maybe in the future I can play bishop f3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3. that can be an idea. Or there is one more idea which I have, that is later I can play something like knight takes f7. Maybe right now it doesn't make sense, but because the knight is on e5, I can think about sacrificing it on the f7 square. So I played knight e5, he played knight d5, and I took bishop takes e7. Now just pause this video for some time and think, how should black capture? Should he capture with the queen or should he capture with the knight? Okay, so hope you have paused the video and thought about this position for some time. So here the natural move is just take with the queen, connect the rooks by moving the queen away. So here my opponent surprisingly took knight takes e7, which I feel is a mistake. So when he took knight takes e7, now it seems like the knight was more active on d5. Now it's not doing anything on the e7 square. But maybe my opponent thought that yes, but my bishop on b7 is getting active. Maybe I can play queen d5 in the future, and that's the reason he did that. But still, I do not think that this is a good move. And here I had a couple of moves. I can play bishop g4, I can play bishop f3, I can play multiple moves which seem okay, which seem good. But there are a few things which I considered here. That if I play bishop f3, he will take bishop takes f3, knight takes f3, and now I have an isolated pawn. So it's a very important, powerful principle that whenever you have an isolated pawn, do not exchange minor pieces. And here I'm exchanging the bishops, and I thought this is not a good idea. So after giving it a thought, after thinking for some time, I played this move bishop g4. And the point is that if he plays knight f5 now, I can take bishop takes f5, e takes f5, and then he can have doubled pawns. So here my opponent did not play knight f5, he played the move knight d5. And now I said, let me think deeply about this position. So in this particular position, I thought for around 25 to 30 minutes, which is a long time, and I came up with the best move. So pause the video right now and tell me if you can also find the best move in this position. Okay, so hope you have paused the video and tried to calculate a few variations. Now here I played the move knight takes f7. And the idea is that if he takes king takes f7, then I simply take bishop takes e6, king f6, and then bishop takes c8. And that is a completely winning position for me. And that's the reason black is forced to take rook takes f7. And the point is, I'm going to get a rook and a pawn, or rook and two pawns for two minor pieces. So black has two options here. One is knight takes c3 and second is knight f4. Now both moves require serious calculation, but in this position the better move was knight takes c3. If he played the move knight takes c3, he would have an advantage. But here my opponent did not play the best move, he played the move knight f4. And both moves looked tempting, so I do not blame my opponent at all. He played the move which seemed the best to him. Even I felt knight f4 was pretty good when I was looking at the game. So he played knight f4, now I just took bishop takes f7, king takes f7, and now again comes this beautiful move d5. And this is a very difficult move to find in practice because it makes no sense. It feels like, why are you giving up the pawn? But the point is that if he plays knight takes d5, then I have so many options like queen f3 check, queen h5 check, which can be really dangerous. And if he plays bishop takes d5, which happened in the game, if he does that, then I can take knight takes d5. And now when he plays queen takes d5, I can play this move queen g4. And I am attacking both the knight as well as the rook. So both of us calculated all of these moves, and here there is only one move to save the game, which he played in the real game, that is the move queen g5. And when he played this move queen g5, I have only one move to stay in the game, that is the move queen d7, and even I played queen d7. And here again it's the same part, he has only one move to save the game, I can say, that is the move king g6. All the other moves are simply minus. So if he goes back king g8, I can just take the rook. So he has to play king g6, and when he did that, now my g2 pawn is hanging, it is attacked, so I have to save it. So I simply played the move g3. And here my opponent had to find the only move, which was rook d8, attacking my queen. If he played rook d8, the game would have continued. I would have moved my queen away and it would have gone on. But here my opponent, just because of all this pressure and calculation, simply blundered and played the move rook f8. And this was a terrible blunder by my opponent. So this was the important moment. And the moment he played rook f8, I realized that he has made a mistake. I thought for a minute or so and immediately played my next move. So can you find what was my move that led me to the victory? Pause the video right now, comment below, and then resume this video. Okay, I hope that you have paused the video and you have commented the best move in the chat, and the right move here is the move h4. I played h4 and now all of a sudden you see black is losing a piece. So my opponent played queen f5, I took queen into f5, rook into f5, g into f4, rook into f4, rook e7. And now this is completely winning. I have two rooks for a rook and knight. And then there were a couple of more moves. I just played the most natural moves. My opponent tried to do a lot of things, but because he had such a huge disadvantage, he couldn't do anything. So I was just playing the most natural move, and there was only one moment in the game which was interesting, where I played the move rook b5. And here I played rook b5 and I knew it was a check, but if it was not a check, then knight b2 is checkmate. But because black is in check, black can't play knight b2, and that's the reason it is check. So he played king e4, I played rook c5, and then I just played the most natural moves again and got all of my pieces active, captured all of his pawns, and then led to an amazing victory. So hope you enjoyed this game, learned a lot from this game. Comment in the chat and tell me what was your biggest aha moment when it comes to this game. So that's it for this video. See you in the next video. Thank you and bye-bye.